It was really weird actually. We went to like Asia a few times, did tours there, and I don't know if it's something about just like celebrity culture out there, but like when we turned up to gigs, we got like swamped, and like people like bringing us presents and stuff like that. And but back in the UK, that would never really happen. Some people would take selfies and stuff, but it was usually only once you were walking away from the DJ booth because they'd just seen you DJ, and you know what I mean.
That is mad. The concept of that is mad, though. That you guys went to Asia, and they were swarming you around. Like, that must have been so weird.
It's crazy because that's when you begin to realise, like, oh, this does actually carry a little bit further than my own little kind of area or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing when something does well in the UK, like, or, you know, Europe even, but when you see it's been as far reaching as Asia, you're just like, it's quite hard to compute.
Was there a lot of that? Was there sort of, you sort of hear people talk of like imposter syndrome sometimes when they get super successful in a quick space of time, but even not so, even if it takes a while, but once you get there, you're sort of surrounded and you're sat in a room with, I don't know, Liam Gallagher, and you're like, what am I doing here? And in your case, you go to Asia and you're getting swarmed and people are giving you presents. Was there a lot of that throughout that time?
Yeah, of course, man. And also, people don't tell, I mean, when you look on people's Instagrams and you see all the touring and stuff, you see like the party shots, popping the champagne bottles, or, you know, the like shots from the booth and stuff, which is the best bit. But that is usually only about 2 hours of the actual trip. Like 90% of it is you like sleeping on planes, getting about 2 hours in a hotel until you got to get to the next plane, especially on the Asia tours. So there was a lot of time for kind of like, you know, for like reflecting and kind of like, you know, being uncomfortable and stuff like that. So yeah, people do kind of just see the touring as like, oh, this amazing thing, but it's actually pretty grueling as well.
Was there like a standout moment for you, or a few standout moments like throughout that time with Blonde, that you sort of stood there and was like, wow, this is mad, like this is crazy?
Yeah, probably. I mean, for me, like Glastonbury's just like the pinnacle for me. I've been going for quite some time, and it's just an institution. And when we got to play like on the biggest dance stages there, and then Craig David came on to perform the song with us and stuff like that, that was a moment when I looked around and I was like, you know, this is actually pretty mad. I'm on stage with Craig David playing at Glastonbury Festival. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was a moment.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is as well, looking out onto that stage, I always find when I'm watching, like, say, you know, when I'm at a gig or especially like Glastonbury, and especially like watching arena kind of main stage Glastonbury sets and arena tours and all this kind of stuff, the sort of privilege, and I don't know, I always wonder if the artist and the performer up there knows how crazy the situation they're in is, because what they're seeing, looking out into a sea of people at Glastonbury, which is one of the biggest and best festivals in the world. That's a privilege that not that many people on the planet will ever get to experience.
Do you know what? Like, there were moments when, like I said, for the Glastonbury one, I think that dawned on me just because of how special Glastonbury is to me. But like, you do kind of start going through the paces. Like when you are doing like 3 DJ like sets a week, and you're going up and down the country or across Europe and back and forth, like, it does become second nature, and you know that you don't get the nerves before and stuff as well, and 'cause it's like you do get like surprisingly comfortable with it, and maybe you do somewhat kind of take it for granted a little bit. It's like anything really. You know, if you do something day in day out that's incredible, you might take it for granted. But since obviously, you know, I've left Blonde, and obviously being in lockdown and stuff like that, and there's no shows on, I think everyone, even all the DJs who've been touring a lot recently, have had time, like 4 months or whatever, to properly reflect on how fucking special their jobs are, and everyone's raring to go again now. So yeah, I think you do need to step back from it ever so often just to realise.
I know a lot of people kind of get to a point where there's actually so much partying that it's like not the reason that it calms down is because it's not actually sustainable. Did it kind of hit that level for you?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like, if you're DJing like 3 times a week and you're drinking or whatever at every single one of those parties, you're gonna burn out. And so, unless you have that self-discipline innate in you, then there's gonna come a point where you do burn out. And I know a lot of people, DJ friends and stuff like that, who have had to take a step away from doing as many shows for that exact reason, because it's the thing you got to remember is you're like turning up to a show where like it's these people who are there, it's their one night of the week, or it's their big night out, and you've just like got off a train that you've been on for like 3 hours or something like that, feeling like shit, and you're going into this like really heightened kind of like social intense kind of party environment. And sometimes you feel like you need a little bit of the Dutch courage or something like that just to kind of get you in the same mode as everyone else, also so you can kind of like, because you want to exude the kind of positivity and the energy to the crowd as well so that they can enjoy it. So it is a hard thing to do shows totally sober for that exact reason. And I know why a lot of people do struggle with that. But I think if you are touring to that degree, just a little note for anyone who's watching who does end up kind of like touring all the time, just take it easy.
Is it weird to see that when you know someone throughout all stages of their careers, and you see a definitely a drastic change in their personality with the level of success that they achieve? Is that like is it weird to see, and how do you even handle that? Like,
well, I mean, not going to name any names or anything like that, but I've seen a few people who have kind of just like been consumed by an inflated ego and stuff like that as a direct result of things. But nothing is forever necessarily. Success is never really forever unless you're like Ed Sheeran or one of these lot. But so you got to be humble in those situations. Otherwise, it's just going to come around to bite you in the ass later on. And I think a lot of people do fall victim to that. But luckily, I always try and surround myself with people who are similar to myself in that regard. So, most of my friends, when I see them doing well, they're extremely humble about it.
I think I don't even judge. I actually don't judge the people that do change and that do turn into.
Nah.
And the reason I don't, and I suppose it's why I see it as a credit to you guys as such, is that when you're living the life that you live as a successful touring artist, and you arrive to all these different locations, and people want to meet you, you're the main event, and you arrive in Asia and people are giving you presents and they want photos and selfies. Like, I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine what that does to your mentality. Do you know? Yeah,
exactly.
And I definitely don't judge them, because I'd like to think that I would stay grounded, to be fair. Like, I would like to think that, but who knows? Like, it can do success and stuff like that, and can do crazy things, and it can sort of alter your reality, and your perception of yourself. Do you know?
Yeah, 100%. No, it can definitely do that. And I think a little bit of, how we were talking about imposter syndrome and things like that loads of people suffer from. I think sometimes that can help almost a little bit keep your ego in check as well. Just to remember, I mean, obviously if it becomes too much, then it can have a real negative impact on you. But, it's just remembering that you're actually, even though you might be talented, you're actually very lucky to be where you are and to be traveling to all these beautiful countries and meeting all these incredible people.
Was it weird getting used to like taking selfies and becoming the focus of, like I said, the main event, and becoming almost celebrity like?
Yeah, I mean, I had like my little kind of paste up, my little go-to smile, which I just like, straight in with that one. I've perfected it. So like literally, if you look at any selfies of me with blonde fans, I've got the exact same smile on my face in every single one. It's like uncanny.
The forced smile when you are hungover and you've got that, but you need to look good for a selfie.
There you go. Yeah, it's the only way. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like for people who are like, you know, so famous to the point where, like, you know, trying to go to the shops or something like that. I mean, we only really got it ever when we were going to gigs and things like that. But, you know, to be that famous where you can't even go to like Sainsbury's or whatever and get your shopping without someone stopping you, that would be difficult.
Unless you're in Asia, by the sounds of it, then you get
Then I'll get absolutely mobbed at the local market. Yeah.
What presents did they give you out of interest?
One of them did like they had like the artwork for Nothing Like This, and this was in South Korea, and they'd edited it so that it had our faces on it, and then also the all the text was in Korean. So it's actually really cute. And then there was like, it's like a scarf or something from someone. It was really weird things, but I think it's a cultural thing where they, like, you know, bring you presents and stuff. So it's really sweet. I've still got all the gifts.
I was gonna say, what do you do with all of that? Like, do you actually put it in your suitcase and bring it home?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're not like on my mantelpiece or anything like that, but they're you know, they're in a box, saved for a rainy day to show the kids.
In Asia, did you find actually that I've heard that the crowds, and you mentioned a cultural difference, are a lot more like, it's almost a bit more respectful, so they're kind of not as mad. They almost listen instead of like get involved. Did you find that? Dude,
well, actually talking about this show that we did in South Korea, they're absolutely awesome. They were lovely people, but they the way, like, we did this like set in this about 300 capacity room, and everyone was kind of, they were dancing, but it's like mainly just like all eyes forward, you know, not like people dancing in little, you know, groups and stuff. All eyes forward, watching at your every single move. And there was even a moment where we did like a drop and like people started clapping. It was like, well done. And I was just like, what? This is so bizarre. But yeah, I
don't like, it's just obviously a cultural thing, but I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't get, and especially with dance music, it just doesn't compute, does it?
Well, I kind of prefer it when everyone gets a bit lost, you know, in what you're doing and like just having fun with their friends and stuff. But at the same time, it was quite sweet, you know, having their undivided attention on us to that degree.
Was there any like particularly weird gigs that spring to mind? Because you obviously played so many.
There was one where we were playing at this ski festival, and they had this like big decking thing that the dance floor was on, and people were going so crazy, like jumping up and down, that the decking fell through. And like I found it absolutely hilarious, but then later on found out 2 people broke their legs.
Oh my
and like it was just like there's about 15, 16 people down this, like, in this hole in the decking.
What do? You just keep playing, like?
Well, actually, we kept on playing, and then they ended up telling us that we had to turn off the music. Because there was another time at Festival when I was there for the weekend with a few pals, and we were playing on the Saturday, and at a festival, your phone runs out of battery pretty quickly. So I was like, right, when I'm DJing, I'm going to plug my phone charger in, get some juice while I'm having a spin. Plugged it into this quite full multi-plug thing, and it exploded in my hand. All the music, all the sound went off, all the lights went off in this tent. I'd like had a near-death experience. I was like shaking like a leaf because I thought I was nearly died, and people started booing. So not only had I just had a near-death experience, I was getting booed for it as well.